Well, we're off to a good start. I've already got a slight headache. So, apologies in advance for the slight clickbait in the title. Obviously, we're not actually in Perth right now. We're probably more or less in line with Jarrahdale along the Albany Highway, or the old Albany Road, as I like to call it. So it's obviously not actually Perth's tallest mountain, but if I said Jarrahdale's tallest mountain or whatever locality we're in, probably wouldn't exactly have the right amount of punch. But having said that, we're only about an hour away from the city, so it is pretty accessible to city dwellers like myself. Today, we are hiking Mount Cooke, which is 582 meters in elevation. And that's probably considered it's a tall hill in some places in the world, but this is Western Australia. I'm Western Australian. I want to climb mountains. These are the ones that are accessible to me. And I've never hiked a mountain before, so yeah, this should be fun. There's quite a few people, well, quite a few cars, I should say, in the car park. I haven't seen anyone yet, so which I'm actually a little bit surprised by. I don't know, I just figured I'd probably have this mountain all to myself, but today is the 1st of March, so it's official. We're in autumn, boys and girls and everyone else. As far as I'm concerned, autumn and spring are the two best times of the year for hiking and camping, and we're off to a good start. It's going to be a max of like 25 degrees today. Thankfully, the summer hasn't been too harsh, but still, it's not the best time to be running a hiking and camping channel, that's for sure. Been there before. If you want to watch a really early Brendan's Odyssey video, I think it was probably like, I don't know, maybe the 3rd video. It's pretty rough, the filming, I'll be honest, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're sort of heading towards, oh, I've already seen toilet paper. I haven't even left the car park yet. There's already shit roll on the ground. Anyway, we're walking near the Albany Highway right now, so it is relatively loud and busy, but yeah, we shouldn't be hearing that for too long. Didn't realize there was actually a separate little parking area here, and I completely missed the path I was supposed to be on. I reckon this will be an old well. Well. Probably can't really see it, but it is lined with old stones, the old stonework there. So looks nice to me. Abandoned well risk. So yeah, obviously all of this used to be a big logging area, so plenty of wells, plenty of tracks, and also a couple of POW camps, because why not? So not only will we be climbing our first mountain today, we'll also be seeing the Bibbulmun Trail for the first time, which is a massively long hiking trail that runs from Kalamunda to Albany. It's over 1,000 kilometers, and it's a bit of a point of pride amongst the Western Australian hiking community. All right, straight into it. This is not Mount Cooke, by the way. This is called Sullivan Rock. Why is it called Sullivan Rock? I've got no idea. I couldn't figure it out. Who was Sullivan, and why does he have this big, massive rock named after him? I wonder if that's Mount Cooke over there. Not sure. So what I can tell you about Sullivan Rock is that it's covered in this moss and lichen. Apparently it's here year round, but changes colour. It's a pretty appetizing grey and brown right now. A little bit of pea yellow mixed in. But I think during the wetter months, it's a much more vibrant colour. So I'll see if I can find some photos. These survey marks must be following me around. So today, we are in the Monodox Conservation Park. And I'll just quote the Parks and Wildlife Service directly. And they say, Monodox are isolated hills of erosion-resistant bedrock that rise conspicuously above a flatter plain. Could have said it better. Well, actually, I couldn't have said it better myself, because I don't really know much about geology. I do find it interesting though. I'm not sure what that mountain is. We are in the vicinity of several others. I think there's like Mount Vincent, and hang on, let me bring up my notes. Yeah, so Not sure where, but my notes suggest that we're close to Mount Cuthbert and Mount Vincent. My mouth is already dry, having just walked up that big rock. So pretty good warm up actually. Anyway, be saying goodbye to Sullivan Rock for now. I should point out that the hike we're doing today is not a loop. We're basically going through over the Sullivan Rock, down the Bibbulmun Track, then we'll go up the mountain, turn around, come back down the mountain, do it all in reverse. So it'll be about 20 kilometers all up. I'd rather do a loop because it's kind of more interesting. You get to see more things, but just the nature of this sort of being parallel to Albany Highway. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really any tracks on that side. I mean, there is, but all the big Alcoa operations are over there. Boo! So yeah, a lot of bush there doesn't exist anymore. A lot of the world's only Jarrah forest or something like that. Don't worry, I'm not going to get all environmental on you, not on video anyway, but yeah, I don't know, fuck them. Well, we've just come from over there. We are now officially on the Bibbulmun Track. We have a nice down here portion here to start. I'm sure this will be fun walking up as one of the very last bits of the track when I'm finished. Bit slippery too. Good thing it's not raining. So this will be far from the only time you see the Bibbulmun Trail on this channel. Mark my words. It dates back to 1979, but the route has been sort of changed a bit over the years, mainly because of bauxite mining. See Alcoa across the road about that. Also, what's called dieback. So, but as far as I understand, the current route dates back to 1998. So it's more or less been the same for about 30 years. And yeah, 1998 was nearing on 30 years ago. Deal with it. So the name comes from the Bibbulmun people, or the Bibbulmun tribe, who I believe are part of the Noongar community. Please let me know if I'm getting that wrong. It can be a little bit difficult to find good sources on First Nations. So if you have any good sources you want to share, please let me know. And if I'm correct about that as well, or incorrect, please let me know, because I do like being right. So, oh yeah, that's right, there is another road. So you don't have to go through Sullivan Rock. I think there is an alternative way, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be a little bit more interesting. And actually, now that I think about it, that other route might even be a loop route. So if that is the case, I'll put it in the description. Today, as per usual, I'm on a All Trails track because that's the app I've decided to pay for. But All Trails seems pretty good in my experience. I've talked about All Trails before on this channel. But yeah, I'll link both in the description. And yeah, I'm not really sure why my last sentence ended like I was about to say something else, because I wasn't. Sometimes my mouth goes quicker than my mind, if you know what I mean. So my mouth's still going blah, 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 but my brain's already stopped. So if you've ever wondered about this emblem, which points the way for the Bibbulmun Track, it represents a Woggle, which is a Dreamtime deity in First Nations culture. So yeah, it is a snake, and there will be snakes out here apparently, but yeah, the more you know. So like I was saying in the car before, today is my first mountain. The goal is to climb as many mountains in Western Australia as I can. This mountain today, Mount Cooke, it's actually relatively low. It's not that high. It's, like I said, it's 582 meters, I think, off memory. But Bluff Knoll, for example, is twice the height of that. And you know, that's not even the tallest mountain in WA. If you know, you know. But like I said, Western Australia is pretty flat compared to most places in the world. But it is what it is. I can only climb what's available to me. Maybe one day we'll, you know, go elsewhere and check out mountains elsewhere in the world, but the budget can't quite pay for that just yet. Oh, and also, before I forget, speaking of the Bibbulmun Trail, the end goal is to eventually walk the entire thing from start to finish at once in its entirety. So like I said, it is over 1,000 kilometers. Most people recommend 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the time of year. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to sort of be hiking and filming today. A bit of a milestone, really. I mean, I've been on the Bibbulmun Trail before, but never really as a hiker. I consider myself a hiker now, okay? And more or less running parallel to the Bibbulmun Track is the Munda Biddy Trail, which is the equivalent, but for mountain biking. So on the Bibbulmun Track, walkers only. You're not allowed to bike. That's why they built the Munda Biddy. And same, that also runs from, I can't remember off the top of my head if it runs from Kalamunda, but it definitely runs from the hills. And that also terminates in Albany. So one day, I plan to do both in their entirety. Not at once, of course. But yeah, I still don't have a mountain bike. I do a lot of biking, like I've mentioned on this channel before, but I've only got a road bike. So very soon, I plan to just buy like a secondhand mountain bike as well. And we'll see how we go. What's the go here? It's like someone decided to start chopping it and then either gave up or chopped it because they were, I don't know, checking the condition of the tree. What's the deal with that? Nice little hollow in there. A lot of these trees around here are quite black, so there has been a fire through here somewhat recently. I was reading an information board near the car park that apparently there was quite an awful bushfire through here in 2003. But yeah, I don't know, this seems a bit more recent than that. 2003, just like 1998, many years ago now. And oh, check this out. We have someone's old car. It's been set on fire. I've got absolutely no idea what this could have been. Kind of hard. I mean, that's the back? Yeah, that must be the back. Yeah, okay, so it's difficult to tell what it is because it's completely missing the front end. Exercise ring closed. So, yeah, I don't know. If you happen to know what that is, let me know. I can't see any emblems. I reckon that's been out here a long time. Probably a stolen car, which someone managed to drive down the Bibbulmun Track, which is a bit disconcerting. I've heard people on motorbikes around as well, which I don't know how I feel about. Like, people are allowed to ride motorbikes, I guess, but it's just the noise is so annoying. And this is definitely gonna sound like me just having a sook. Been a bit of an old man about it, but I'm out here to listen to nature. Not just my own voice, I promise. So you'll all be very proud to hear that this guy now has a first aid kit. Yeah, that's right, we're being safe. It was just one of those things that I just kept forgetting, which is absolutely horrible. So I've now got myself a first aid kit. I've also got a snake bite kit as well, although I didn't really know much about snake bite kits and was kind of surprised to open it up and there's really just like compression bandages and that's it. I don't know if I was expecting there to be like anti-venom or anything like that. I guess that can only be administered by medical professionals, of which I am not. From the videos I watched online, basically they say put a compression bandage around it, try not to move because they'll just make the venom flow through your body, I guess, and then call for help. So I guess that is a pitfall of hiking by yourself. I do still have 4G. I just did a bit of a 4G check just then. And like I said, there were quite a few other cars in the car park. So I saw a couple on Sullivan's Rock. I haven't seen anyone else yet. I think I saw some guy sort of walking through the car park. That's it. I guess everyone's on top of the mountain. I'd imagine people try to get up there for the sunrise. But yeah, I wasn't planning on doing that anyway, but I didn't quite wake up early enough for that, but oh well. Someone been doing this without any shoes on. Jeez. I have to say, the Bibbulmun Track is in really good condition around here. Maybe that's because it's close to the city, or maybe it's just in good condition most of the way. I've watched a few videos of people doing the hike end to end, I should say. If you do it in the winter, it just looks like there's a few places that are susceptible to being flooded, but yeah, it's been like nice and flat so far. The track's nice and wide, a lot of clearance, so So there's a good chance of me, you know, seeing a snake before stepping on its head. When I crossed that bridge before, there was something rustling around underneath the bridge. So I was trying to see what it was and film it in the hope of showing you guys another snake that's probably not a carpet python. But alas, they didn't want to move with me looking, fair enough, so I left them alone. I do appreciate that these old logs have been replaced with these fairly new looking bridge. Nearly forgot the word bridge. So yeah, I'm sure this is quite the nice babbling brook at the right time of the year. But yeah, like I said, first day of autumn today, get in. So going forward, next couple of months will start raining and yeah, the places will look different. But I think the Australian bush looks good all times of the year. I mean, look at this. Even with summer finishing just yesterday, it still manages to look amazing. It doesn't look like a dried out mess. I have a little garden area out the front of my house, and the plan is to plant a native garden out the front, because out the back is all the stuff that, you know, we can eat. I don't want to put that out the front just in case someone steals it. But, you know, you can usually get native plants for free through the council. They're hardy, like they're designed to be here, so they don't need much maintenance. Because really, like, no shade to the former owners of the house, but the plants out the front there are fugly as fuck. Like, they're just so ugly. I can't remember what type of plants they are. Pretty common. I think they warn off mosquitoes or something, but they just look like dried up lettuce, you know? So yeah, I'll be honest, I sort of left most of that to die with the intention of pulling it out anyway. So hopefully my neighbours don't think we're, you know, intentionally not looking after our garden. It's just not a good idea to plant a garden in summer. It's, you know, even if they are natives. So yeah, stay tuned for future updates about Brendo's front garden. Bro's running down the Bibbulmun Track. I did watch a video recently, and sorry, I don't have my microphone on, but I saw he like ran the entire Bibbulmun Track. I'll see if I can't remember what the video was called. I'll track it down, I'll put it in the description. Absolutely amazing that someone would run the entire Bibbulmun Track, and the amount of time he did it in was just nuts too, like, like 5 or 6 days. Crazy. So we're over 4 kilometers on the hike. We're about halfway towards Mount Cooke. I do wonder if we'll get to a point where we can sort of see the elevation gain. Like, hopefully it's not blocked by the trees, we can actually see what we're about to climb. Insert Willem Dafoe meme.
You have nothing to do with this decision. Where are you going?
But thus far, the terrain has looked pretty much exactly the same as this. Like I said, I did think I could see it from Sullivan Rock. At least I saw some peaks around there that were in the general vicinity of Mount Cooke, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. Look at this guy, fucking huge. Hold on, I'll see if I can use myself as a scale. Brendan for scale. Looks like this guy's fallen over pretty recently. There's that big tree I was just standing next to. Luckily that hasn't fallen down. Smack! Although you wouldn't hear it because there's no one around. So now that we are back into the proper hiking season, well, hopefully at least, as opposed to just finding random odd weekends where it's hopefully, you know, below 30 degrees, I can start thinking about the equipment that I need and want to buy. Because as I've talked about, eventually I want to get into overnight hiking. So first thing on the list, believe it or not, is a stove. So you've seen in my other videos, I was whinging about how long it takes to boil water when I go car camping, just using a very traditional whistle pot. Wait, watch is going off. Am I not walking the right way? I just have to make sure my watch goes off while I'm talking, that I'm not accidentally walking in the wrong direction, because it will send me a notification. Anyway, I was whinging about how long it takes to boil water, just using like a butane stove and a traditional whistle kettle. Very soon, I plan on trying out jet boil, and it looks like jet boils water in something like 2 minutes. I swear, with the butane stove, it depending on the conditions, if it's a little bit windy, it feels like it takes up to 10 or 15 minutes sometimes, maybe 5 or 6 minutes, best case scenario. So not only will that be a stove that I'll take on overnight hikes, but be good for using on car camps as well for boiling water, etc. And then eventually I'm just gonna upgrade as I go, as the money comes available really. You know, I wanna check out some pretty like ultralight stuff. So an ultralight tent, you know, ultralight sleeping bag, sleeping pad, you know, all that sort of stuff. I also do need some new shoes. Still rocking these old knackered Everlast sneakers that I bought from the Pinjarra Kmart many years ago. Yeah, last time I did a hike of this length, which was about 20 kilometers, I think that was when I was at John Forest. I got a pretty nasty blister on my foot, and that's actually still healing. So great idea to come out here and do some more hiking when it hasn't even properly healed yet, but that was like a month ago. Anyway, I'm wearing proper like thick socks today at least, not just your typical pair of Bonds that I usually do. Hopefully that'll help. If not, like I said, I've got my first aid kit now, and I did put some proper blister band-aids in there. So yeah, hopefully I won't have to limp all the way back to the car if I do get another blister. It's a teensy bit concerning that there's been absolutely no elevation gain at all so far. According to the app, it's like I've only done 62 meters, which is not really anything. I'm supposed to be climbing nearly 600. Every now and again, through the trees, I get a peak of what is at least a really tall hill. And yeah, I know it's one of the smaller mountains, but it seems very tall from down here. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like we'll be in for a bit of a walk, a bit of a climb, I should say. I don't know, we'll find out together. So this is one of the campsites for the Bibbulmun Trail. So these campsites are for hikers only. There's no vehicle access. But having said that, some absolute grub stole a couple of water tanks from a similar site recently. I think it was up near Mundaring, but like, I don't know, who does that? You're a horrible person. Anyway, here's a bit of information. Yes, I've made it from the nearest car park. Ooh, freshly oiled. So I've barely seen anyone walking around. I've maybe seen 5 people, 6 people so far. I do wonder, because there was quite a few cars in that car park, and there's not actually really that many places you can park and access the trail. So I do wonder, because it's a long weekend, if people are just doing portions of the trail, but still doing overnights, maybe even 2 nights, you know, hike that way for a certain distance, come back. I don't know. I just thought I'd see more people by now. Anyway, I think I might take this opportunity to eat some lunch, or brunch in my case. Okay, so we don't have the jet boil yet, so I can't bring camping food or even like 2-minute noodles or anything just yet. We'll be sticking to the 7-Eleven. You'll have to subscribe for a future video of Brendo's boiling adventures. Today we have the deli style, naturally, Thai beef and salad. And yeah, I didn't really feel like a sandwich today for some reason. I thought I'd get a wrap. And I've pretty much made my way through all the sandwiches at 7-Eleven, both on and off camera. So yeah, today's the wrap. Get a whiff of that. Let's see what it tastes like. Looks nice. Very good. Pretty happy with that. What's that? $8. Probably more of a $6 wrap to be honest, but $8 ain't too bad. Yeah, this is for a pitch. We're very close to the other campsite. There's some people about to run past, so I'll let them do just that. Oh, this pitch is even better. Nice. So like I said, the other one is for group camps, but I believe this is just single tent, maybe 1 or 2 people. Yep, 3 more runners. Probably can't see them now, but I'll just give you a quick look of this other campsite. This one's a little bit smaller. We've even got the platforms, like the bunk beds, I guess. Yep, I think that's just the exact same sign as the other site. Water tank and the bog. You can use your imagination for that one. I'm not going over there. What do we have in here? An old water tank and a sign. Oh, there we go. We've got information about the fire. So 18,000 hectares were burnt in the January of 2003. So the Mount Cooke campsite was completely destroyed by the fire. So this is relatively new then. The water tank nearby is the only surviving remnant. Look at that. Don't tell the thieves up Kalamunda Way. The campsite was rebuilt. The toilet that was some distance away miraculously survived the inferno and has now been relocated. Well, there you go. It wasn't the only survivor. The fire was the result of a lightning strike driven by northwest winds and a heavy accumulation of the dry forest debris fuels, in quotations. It burnt fiercely up the slopes along the spine of Mount Cooke and southwards for another 25 kilometers. Holy shit. Flames were up to 30 meters high with a plume of smoke rising 10 kilometers into the sky. The wildlife was brought under control, the wildfire, a little bit hard to read, was brought under control only when the fire ran into forests carrying low fuel as a result of a series of prescribed burns carried out by CALM in the previous 5 years. The fire was so ferocious that in places it killed most of the, what does it say, overstory forest. I don't know what overstory forest means. Large areas of forest will take many decades to recover to its pre-fire state. You can see the understory vegetation is recovering very rapidly. Right. So, if you do happen to be watching this in the future, it is currently 2026. So it's been a good while since those 2003 fires, and yeah, maybe I was right about the trees being blackened from that fire, which is kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, regardless, everything looks nicely regenerated. Okay, we're very gradually going uphill, which is probably a little bit difficult to see on the fisheye lens. But through there, I'll just use my phone to zoom in. I think that's where we're going. So, it's just the bit I used the meme. It'd be good if I could get up really close. So just looking like right up like this.
Where are you going?
All right, the incline has most definitely begun. Starting to get some pretty good views. I sort of, because it was so bushy, I sort of didn't even realize I was going uphill, and then suddenly I was quite out of breath. Oh well, I need the exercise. Anyway, pretty sure we're going up there. I take solace in the fact knowing that since this is a reverse trip, these difficult uphill sections will be very easy when I go down them. There hasn't really been any hills going up so far at all, except for that one that was just after Sullivan Rock, but that was sort of no big deal anyway, so yeah, there we go. Even better views. Whew. Check all that out. Beautiful. Putting that right on the fucking Instagram. Oh yeah. Whew. Not gonna lie, getting pretty tired. This is pretty hard. I'm so unfit. This is pathetic. It's only 582 meters. Having said that, I'm glad I had the hindsights to at least pick a somewhat smaller one, because even by WA standards, this is not very tall, but views though, fucking views. Oh, let's get to the top. Whew. Bit of a reprieve, got a bit of a flatter section here all of a sudden, so leaving the views behind us for a second to walk through this bushy bit, past these big rocks. Kind of nice. I keep moving, regain my breath, but I reckon we're nearly there. We've walked 8.55 kilometers, and from the car park, I think it's about 10 kilometers. So got 1.5 kilometers, but I would imagine this will be the most steep section. What elevation gain are we on while we're talking about it? 286 meters. So yeah, we're only really like just over, or more than over, but pretty close to half the elevation. Shit. Well, I knew the flat, shady bush section would be short-lived, but goddamn, we're already back into it. Goddamn. I said goddamn.
I said goddamn. Goddamn.
Probably noticed I haven't whinged about the temperature yet, at least. Not sure how hot it is, but it's currently a nice cool breeze on me, and it's been quite pleasant, even down at the bottom in the gullies. Yeah. Those kangaroos are always too quick to film. Check out this though. Oh my God. Probably even nicer up there. My watch just let me know that we're 100 meters away from the summit. Although I do believe that you have to go a little bit further to see more views. We might even be on top of it now, to be honest. Pretty flat up here, so plenty of bush. Imagine this is it. Mount Cooke, everybody. Round of applause. There we go. Bagged my first mountain. So we're going to continue on a little bit further before we head back down. There's one more thing I want to show you, which I think will be pretty cool, if I can find it. God, where's the track gone? There we go. This is not what I was going to show you, but here's a view, at least in the other direction. All that clearing over there, I'll probably have to zoom in with my phone. That's all Alcoa's bauxite. It's bauxite operation. All the way through there. Down there, Albany Highway, and I believe that's like a pine plantation. But yeah, keep heading in that direction. You'll eventually hit Albany, the coast, and then probably Antarctica. Probably. I doubt you can swim that far though. Okay, so the track kept just getting smaller and smaller, and then I figured out that I'd totally gone off track. So let's go back up to the rock cairn and see if we can pick up where we left off. Okay, we're back on trail. I thought I was filming then and I wasn't. Whoops. That rock cairn is just up there. You sort of walk around it and the trail continues behind the rocks. I guess that is another trail, but it's not marked. I don't really feel like getting lost today. Oh, here we go. I think this is where we're going to get the real views. So believe it or not, this whole track, the whole Bibbulmun Trail, is on Street View. Someone strapped a camera to their bag and hiked the entire thing. So it's been really good for scoping out today because I could literally do it virtually. So somewhere around here, there should be a small cave. So far I just see a lot of ants. Lots and lots of ants. I've only seen photos of it. I should have the coordinates correct on my phone, so I'm just going to see if I can find it by sight. A lot of people seem to miss it because it's a little bit beyond the main summit. Of course, everyone's coming from the northern side. Having said that, I don't want to go too far down the mountain. Not on this side anyway. Don't think this is it, but I'm just going to have a bit of a look up here because it looks easy to climb. Well, this cave better be worth it because going much further than I thought I would be. Oh, check this out. Such a nice view. Not having to look at all of Alcoa's operations. Bloody beautiful. So we've walked a pretty decent amount to go find this cave, but I think we're getting close. Ah, bag's stuck. This cave better be worth it. I thought it was just beyond the summit of Mount Cooke. I didn't realise I'd be walking this far. This must be it here, because I think we've run out of big rocks. Do I go over there? Or do I go down there? My heart's telling me to go this way. That's it down there. Oh. There's nothing living down here. Hello, hello. Wow. How cool is this? Ooh. Big Daddy Darl was here. Look at all that. All the people that have visited. Wow, this is really cool. Oh, hopefully that stays in position. Take this opportunity to have a little bit of a break. And let me tell you some facts. It's now fact time. So, why is this named Mount Cooke, you might be wondering? Well, it's not named after the cook you're probably thinking of, and the cook that probably has quite a few things named after him around Australia. But this mountain is named after a William Ernest Cooke, who was WA's first government astronomer. He established the Perth Observatory, which is now a building of that is now the headquarters of the National Trust for Western Australia. But he had all sorts of achievements in his field that were actually internationally recognised. And on top of that, he also had over 100 inventions that he patented. So a bit of an inventor as well. I actually meant to look up what these inventions were, but they're probably old-timey, early 20th century inventions that would probably never be useful or get built. Or maybe they were useful, but probably some ornate bronze pole that's, used for unclogging a toilet or something like that. I don't know, use your imagination. Maybe I will look up to see what he actually did invent. So not only is this mountain named after him, but he also has a minor planet named after him as well. And that's called, get this, 3894 William Cooke. And it's up there somewhere. Anyway, that's just about it for Mount Cooke. We're at the top. All that we have left to do now is what you've just seen, but in reverse. Whew. Done. These shoes, I know I said it in John Forrest, they're knackered. They're so knackered. I could feel like every stone, every rock, stub my toe a few times. Yeah, I think I definitely need to make new shoes a priority for the next hike. And believe it or not, I bloody ran out of water. Luckily, towards the end, I think I had about maybe 2-3 kilometers left. I had 3 liters of water with me, And I drank it all. I don't feel like I've drank it all. Like the bladder in my bag was 2.5 litres. So unless that has a slow leak, only 500 ml in the Yeti, unfortunately. Usually I have the bladder and 2 water bottles. And today I was like, you know what? I never drink that much. I may as well just bring the 1 water bottle. And of course, that's a bloody day I ran out of water. So there will be a pit stop somewhere along the way. Some cold water, maybe some coconut water. Nature's Powerade. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.